Merry Christmas and welcome to Cinema Gulp. This is John.
And this is Ben. Happy Kwanzaa.
Happy Hanukkah. Today we're going to do a quick shot review for some fucking Christmas movie.
It's Christmas. We should celebrate, they said. Just a little get-together for the employees. Have a few drinks. Blow off a little steam. Nothing crazy.
Merry Christmas, Jeremy. Great night, huh?
In the vein of R-rated Christmas comedies, one could say that this one is on par. It's got some funny gags, funny bits of dialogue exchanges, and a lot of drug and alcohol use at the center. Its setup is so simple, it's really hard to fault the film for anything, since it's literally telling you exactly what it is from the title. John, what did you think of Office Christmas Party?
Giant waste of talent. There were people laughing in this theater. People were enjoying the movie, but I did not love this movie. I think it was just so obvious. It had so many moments in this film that was telegraphing exactly where every little plot point was going to go, and it was just a giant waste of comedic talent.
Well, I'll tell you, as chestnuts are roasting on my open fire right now for Olivia Munn, performance-wise, I'd have to say this was definitely her best performance. That is not saying a whole lot. I'm not saying it is. But at least she almost felt like a character in this movie.
Yeah, she almost gave a performance, is my opinion.
Listen, I love Jason Bateman. I don't know if there's anything I haven't liked Jason Bateman in.
Teen Wolf 2, can't overlook that.
Teen Wolf 2, unsung hero of the late 1980s. Also, one of the best boxing movies ever made. This movie, to me, I was laughing a lot. I'd like to say I kind of enjoyed 2/3 of this film for nothing more than the fact that it's a gigantic party of people doing drugs, people making funny faces, people exposing their body parts and putting them in 3D printers. Just a bunch of ridiculous stuff. But sometimes this is that time of year, the holiday season. These kind of things can work easily and make you less inclined to bash them because it is a Christmas movie, and at the end of the day, you're just trying to lift people's spirits with comedy. You're not trying to. The movie's definitely not a mean-spirited film, in my opinion, especially for what's happening on screen. There's a lot of gnarly shit going on in this movie, but none of it really felt mean-spirited to me.
It's definitely trying to play up the Christmas spirit and be somewhat of a joyous film, even though it's a party film. I mean, when you've got stuff like someone sucking eggnog out of a frozen cock,
probably my favorite scene in the movie.
Well, how do you miss the Christmas spirit in that?
The reason this movie doesn't work as well as it should is because that eggnog scene's a perfect example. You see it coming way before it happens, and that's with every single punchline in this film. It is foreshadowed earlier on, and you know exactly when it's going to happen, and that's fine. And there'll be people that are like, well, dude, stop giving this movie a hard time. It's dumb fun. Absolutely, but comedy can be more enjoyable and more effective if done a little less obvious and not so predictable. I'm not saying I wasn't laughing my ass off through some of this movie. I definitely was.
Comedy, you have to have perfect timing for comedy to work. And in this film, everything was so obvious and telegraphed. You already knew the joke was coming. Sometimes you knew it was coming 45 minutes before the joke happened. Other times, you see it within the scene that the joke is going to take place. But like the eggnog thing, you saw it coming. Sorry for the pun. You saw it coming. 30 seconds before it happens. That's still not good comic timing. The joke has already hit me before it happened. I love Jason Bateman. He plays his typical witty character that he's played so many times before, but he was on a good streak, and I feel like this is a little bit of a misstep.
I agree. And, I don't feel that a lot of this movie was sort of rested on his shoulders. I think he was just kind of along for the ride. I think the movie kind of hinged more on T.J. Miller, who is a little bit more of the trailers, sort of more of the focal point of the story, and he had a lot riding on it. If you don't know who TJ Miller is, he's really great in these sort of best friend roles in comedies. He's the best friend in Deadpool. He's really good in that. I like this guy in those doses. This movie almost gave me too much TJ Miller.
He, like you said, he's fun in small doses, this being kind of the lead role, or at least the lead of this ensemble. There's a little bit too much of him. I did think that from all the comedic talent in this film, he was one that I was still getting a few jokes out of. I think there were so many jokes that fell flat in this film for me personally, but he was one of the few characters that still could hit a joke.
He was the best character. He's the character that had the most heart. I mean, because even in a film like this that's pretty shallow and pretty simplistic, there's scenes where he's, you know, talking to his dad and praying and stuff like that. He's got these little moments. He's a very warm, friendly character in everything he does. He's got this really nice kind of lovable quality. So when he gets in a little bit too much of a film where he's got to sort of change that up and eventually have an arc, it can be a little off-putting because you like him just staying the fuzzy little bunny.
Yeah, and he's got this relationship in the film with Jennifer Aniston, that they're brother and sister. There's a lot of characters in this film that only get a small amount of screen time, and I think one of our favorites was Rob Corddry. Really had some funny moments in this film, but just underused.
God, he's so good. I love what that guy's capable of, and the way this movie was structured and the way it started and kind of where his character is venturing towards is really what I wanted to see, because that guy can get, if you've ever seen Hot Tub Time Machine, that movie takes this really fucked up turn and he's just a fucking mess of a human being, and he does it in such a great way. Like, I saw his character in this movie because he's kind of like the character that just sort of hates his job and hates the company he works for, and then the more like kind of wasted he gets through this party, he gets a little more excited about things. I wanted to see him go down some dark paths, like some weird, and find him in some weird situations, but he kind of just disappears.
Well, I think the film, as you said, the film doesn't go dark enough. It's trying to be kind of a rude, crude, nasty comedy, but it's not a mean-spirited one, so there's very few characters that go down that dark path. And there could have been more wild stuff going on in the part. I mean, they certainly depict some wild stuff. There was some moments.
But it's all done. All the wild stuff's done in montage. It's not showcased in a funny scene. The jousting fucking Christmas trees was great, but it was just in a montage.
That should have been a moment where they actually.
It should have been a funny scene.
A scene where they actually have people doing that.
Absolutely.
Yeah, I kind of feel like the film didn't have enough of an office Christmas party and the funny things that, like, you saw everything you would expect from a crazy party in your office building. Everyone's gonna start making out. They're gonna sit on the copy machine. They're gonna be spiking the drinks or whatever. Like, all that stuff is in the film, but they didn't really make set pieces out of it.
And it didn't feel like it was just people at work letting their hair down. It felt like it was just a giant rave.
So once you get to the party and they're drunk and they're doing drugs and stuff, they ramp it up, sure. Their clothes start coming off, but they're not really different characters.
No, they're not. And the only character that does end up being different is the one you saw coming a fucking mile away, and that's Kate McKinnon's character, who's this Mrs. Conservative, and she's the HR director, and she's like, oh, nobody, no touching, stay 50 yards away, male and female, no contact, you know? Yeah, of course her character arc is she's gonna start fucking acting like a maniac and some weird sex fiend, and that's exactly what she does, but they don't even really live up to their full potential with it. The directing in this movie was basically a music video direction. There's nothing stand out about it. The editing was fluid, nothing wrong with it. It did what it was supposed to do. The editor got to use a lot of durational speed techniques and slow motion.
But I think there could be some editing within just the full length.
Well, you could have edited out the last 30 minutes of the movie, in my opinion. I hated the last 30 minutes of the movie. Okay, so for my audience chuggability, what I think general audiences are going to think of Office Christmas Party, I'm going to go with Thirst Quencher. It's just right there. The trailers pretty much tell you exactly what you're going to get, so I'll leave it at that.
I agree with that. Thirst Quencher would be where I would land it as well. Audiences that we saw it with were laughing, so I think people looking for a holiday comedy will certainly enjoy it.
For the Gulp Gauge, for what it is, we have to take movies for what they are as we view them. I'd say it's not a good movie, it's not a horrible movie, so I'm going to give it 5 gulps.
And I'm going to go lower. I'm going to say it's a 3.5. I feel like, for me, I chuckled a little bit, but I felt that there was so much stuff that was obvious and telegraphed, and a lot of that plays out in the third act, which is a terrible third act, so I gotta go pretty low.
Okay, well, that's our quick shot review for the holiday season of Office Christmas Party. It's Christmas time in Hollis, Queens, and Office Christmas Party's out, and it ain't worth your greens. Oh!
Nice. Hope you liked the review. Make sure to subscribe, give us a like, and please give us some comments below.
And for Cinema Gulp, we hope everyone has a happy holidays. And this is Ben.
And this is John.
We drink your cinema.
I drink it up!
Stick, prick, devils ain't shit. Introduce his ass to the AK-40 dick. 2 days niggas laid in the cut. To get some respect, we had to tear this motherfucker up.